In this episode of the Campcast, we're going to look back at 5 years of Camp Cretaceous and look ahead to season 4 of Chaos Theory. So stick around. Hello and welcome to the Cretaceous Campcast. I am Cretaceous Dave, and this is a podcast all about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World Chaos Theory. First and foremost, sorry it's been so long since I got an episode out, everyone. I've been incredibly busy. I've been really trying to find the time to record something for you guys. I've had some season 4 thoughts I wanted to get out, but I just really haven't had the time to sit down and record them. So I'm going to try to talk about that in this episode while we also talk about the teaser that was just dropped today. Yes, I am recording this the day that the season 4 teaser trailer was released, and man, it's got a lot of good stuff in it. But before we get into Chaos Theory Season 4, the other thing I want to apologize about, no video in this episode. Some technical difficulties while recording it, so we are going audio only for this episode. So if you're watching it on YouTube, I apologize for that. But we'll try to get things straightened out for the next episode. And before we dive into the Chaos Theory stuff, today marks the 5th anniversary of the premiere of Camp Cretaceous. Can you believe Camp Cretaceous came out half a decade ago? That is absolutely insane to think about. I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'm like, man, my son was 3 years old when we sat down and turned on this show for the first time. And he's turning into this little man now, and it is just crazy to think about that this show is 5 years old. 5 years ago is when my dino-obsessed little kid got me personally back into falling in love with this franchise. It brought me to this show, which brought me back to Jurassic, which then introduced me to all sorts of amazing people online in the community. And I have this show to thank for some of the best friends I've ever had in my whole life. So thank you everyone involved with Camp Cretaceous. 5 years ago today, just absolutely incredible to think about. Maybe I'll do an episode reflecting on everything about the show. I know a couple years ago I did a What Camp Cretaceous Means to Me video. I'm not sure if it's still on the YouTube channel or not, but I don't have to get into something like that or go into as deep of detail as I did in there, but maybe we'll spend an entire episode just looking back and reflecting on Camp Cretaceous as a whole, because despite what some people might think about seasons 4 and 5, overall it is a very good series, and it's got far more good than bad. And personally, I don't think any of it is bad, but everyone has their own opinions on certain aspects of the show, and I would love to just dive more into it. And maybe I'll hit some people up and we can have a conversation reflecting back. I think that might be kind of fun too. But anyway, before getting into the Chaos Theory stuff, I wanted to say happy anniversary to Camp Cretaceous, because you turned 5 today, and that is absolutely incredible. All right, on to Chaos Theory stuff. As I said at the top, and as everybody listening to this probably knows, today the teaser trailer for Chaos Theory Season 4 dropped. By the time you're listening to this, it won't be the same day. I'm probably not going to have this out for a day or two, but pretend it's the same day. Pretend it is Thursday right now. So the trailer. Before I go into the trailer, I know this episode's before I talk about the stuff coming out, but before we go into the trailer, I do want to talk about a couple little bits of information we got about season 4 from different sources. And I just kind of want to give, brief thoughts on those, or just mention them in case people didn't see these things online over the last, 2 or 3 weeks. I think some of this stuff has been floating around. So I'm just going to get right into them. And, I want to hear your comments if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. I want to know what you think about some of this stuff that we've been told, because I think, it leaves some questions about the fate of the Nublar 6, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in this season. So, the first thing I want to read off to you is the little blurb about the junior novelization. It is confirmed that the junior novelization will be out on January 6th, and in the little blurb about it, it says, Darius and the rest of the Nublar 6 make their final push to finally put a stop to their enemies and save the dinosaurs from illegal trafficking and experiments. But their foes are far more dangerous than any dinosaur they've encountered, and not all friends are going to make it to safety. That last part is the part I really want everybody thinking about and give me your ideas on. Now, this next one is kind of going to go hand in hand with that. This is from Scott Kramer in an interview, and he said, I couldn't be more excited for people to see our most ambitious season yet. Bigger dinosaurs, bigger set pieces, and bigger stakes as our beloved Nublar 6 struggle to come together and heal old wounds if they hold any hope of surviving. Not everyone is getting out unscathed. So Scott says basically the same thing that the little blurb about the junior novelization says. And I don't know. I'm not getting the warm and fuzzy. Do I think someone's going to die? Honestly, I don't. Now, I think it would be shocking writing if they did decide to do that. Remember, child plot armor is thrown out the window. All of these characters are young adults now, and they can skirt around we're not really going to kill off a kid while, everyone may think of them as kids. They're legally adults. I think there's a little more wiggle room about what they can and can't get away with. Remember, we went an entire season with thinking that Brooklyn was dead. So will they go there? I don't know. I kind of hope they do. Not because I want to see any of the characters die. I'm just going to be completely open about that. I don't want any of these characters to die. But I think it would be a great writing choice if they did decide to do that. And I'm very confident in the writing staff of this show that they would handle it incredibly well, and it would be well done, and it would really make a point and be essential to the plot of what this season and the finale of this show is about. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think about not all friends are going to make it to safety and not everyone is getting out unscathed? I really do want to know what everybody thinks about that. So if I get enough responses, maybe I'll just do a video going over, what everybody has to say, because I think this is a big deal. We are right now, a little over 2 months away from this season. And that's one of the first things they drop on us, that hey, somebody is in danger. And the last little piece I want to read off to you to talk about really quickly is from Zach Stentz. And he actually just said something today, I think, that's very similar. But first I'll read this one. And he said, this season is a really fun companion piece to Jurassic World Dominion in the same way that the first season of Camp Cretaceous was a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern take on the Jurassic World. I think you all will really enjoy it. And he mentioned something today very similar about how this season is to Dominion what season 1 of Camp Cretaceous was to Jurassic World, and it's a perfect bookend to they work like bookends. I don't have that up in front of me, so I apologize. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something very similar. So it's great hearing from Zach. And he seems really proud about the product that they put together and how this show is going to wrap up. Just him saying anything at all is a really good sign. And I think we are in for a real treat when it comes to season 4. I don't know, maybe I'm setting my expectations too high. Maybe I'm just looking at this, through blinders because this is, my favorite shows. But I don't know. I'm feeling really good, especially after that teaser. So, good segue. Why don't we spend a few minutes talking about that teaser that dropped today? So, I think we all kind of expected it leading up to the anniversary of the 5th anniversary of Camp Cretaceous. Someone a few days ago discovered, hey, the Chaos Theory playlist on YouTube has a hidden video. So, everyone assumed that was a season 4 teaser trailer. There was some speculation maybe it was a like anniversary video with a montage of different clips of Camp Cretaceous, but I don't think it would have been added to the Chaos Theory playlist if that was the case. But there was always that possibility of it being out there. But sure enough, yes, it was the Chaos Theory season 4 teaser. And it starts off, we get some voiceover from some stuff we've already heard from previous seasons. It's showing a lot of clips of Camp Cretaceous. And as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, they're going to spend all of this just showing us old stuff. And then they're just going to hit us boom, boom, boom right at the end with the new stuff. And I was mostly right. And we did get a lot in just a few seconds of footage. And if I missed talking about anything, I apologize. I do want everybody to let me know what your favorite part of the teaser was, and maybe we can talk about that sometime real soon. But, the things that stand out in my head, the first thing, and I'm going to jump all over the place. I'm not going in order. I don't have it up in front of me. I'm not watching it right now. I did watch it a handful of times, and I'm sure I'm going to forget something really awesome or something I really liked about it. But, one of the first things that jumped out to me wasn't even anything visual. There was the line, and I don't remember it word for word right now, and I apologize. I just watched it a few minutes ago, and I forget it. But I am very, very convinced it is Dr. Wu saying the line. And after listening to it a few times, I really think it's BD Wong. And that would be amazing if he reprised his role as Dr. Wu. As we all know, he was not the voice of Wu in Camp Cretaceous. But the more I listen to it, the more I'm convinced that that's BD Wong. And I think that would be awesome. No offense to the previous voice actor, but bringing BD Wong back would be incredible. And it kind of confirms my suspicion that he would have played some sort of role in this season. It kind of makes sense. And if that is Wu, I am really, really glad he's going to be back, even if it's only very brief. I don't expect him to play a big part because remember, we are running concurrent with Dominion at this point. So there are going to be scenes with Wu and Dodgson in the lab that we see in Dominion that obviously none of the Nublar 6 are there. We've got scenes with Wu and Maisie, and obviously none of the Nublar 6 are there. So, that takes that out. So there are big chunks of time where, we just don't see him or can't see him in this show. So there are other things going on at other times. So obviously they're going to, bring him in different parts. I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm distracted by something. So apologies for not speaking coherently right now. Anyway, there are opportunities for Wu to be in here, and I think to have an essential part in the season. That's based off nothing. I don't have any information on the season. I don't know anything about it. It's just kind of, I guess it's more of what I hope than what I think. That I do want to see Wu because I do like what they did with him in Dominion. I know a lot of people wanted him to die. They wanted him to get his book treatment. I'm glad that they gave him sort of a redemption arc where he was the one responsible for everything happening. So it was only fitting that he's the one that kind of solved the problem. And yes, he needed help from Maisie and Beta. But I'm happy for Wu. Wu's one of my favorite characters in the franchise. So I am really looking forward to what he's going to bring to the table in Chaos Theory Season 4. Assuming that's him, I think, I'm not alone in assuming that was the voice of Wu. Even if it wasn't BD Wong, I think we can all probably agree that was Wu saying that line there at the end of the teaser. All right, other stuff that we got going on. We see and get confirmation that we get the Giganotosaurus, we get the Quetzalcoatlus, and we get the Therizinosaurus. So I know a lot of people were assuming we were definitely getting 2 of those 3, but I think the Quetz was the biggest surprise for most people because there weren't really rumors or rumblings about it, and where people kind of thought this season was heading, I don't think anyone thought it really had a place. but I am really excited to see what they're going to do with it, because they've done an amazing job so far with the Atrociraptors, which we'll get to in a minute, and the Pyroraptor. So I am really looking forward what they're going to do with these three animals in season 4 of Chaos Theory. Now, it does seem like there's an awful lot to pack in, especially if it's 10 episodes. I'm going to assume it's 10 episodes, just like the other seasons. So I hope it doesn't feel very rushed, or that they're just jamming these animals in there for the sake of, fan service and putting them in. But I don't think that's the case, because it takes time and money to model and animate these things. So I think they're there, and they're going to be there for a purpose. And I think we're going to be very happy with what's going to happen with each of these animals. And let's see, where am I going to jump to first? Let's go back to the Atrociraptors. I mentioned the Atrociraptors. We see the new Atrociraptors. Season 3, they told us that Biosyn was training Atrociraptors. And I always assumed, okay, we're going to get more of them in season 4. And part of it was they already have these fantastic looking models. May as well reuse them. We saw that a lot in the other shows, that we have a model, let's just put it into other places, even if we didn't, see it here previously. It wasn't in the movie kind of thing, but we have this model, we have this empty space to occupy. Let's use it. And I'm not saying they're using the Atrociraptors to just occupy empty space. It looks like they're going to have an actual story and part of the plot of season 4 with the training and whatnot. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have to do with these Atrociraptors. They do seem a little bit more wild, for lack of a better word, than Soyona's, or I guess you can say the handlers, not really Soyona's Atrociraptors. We thought they were Soyona's Atrociraptors until this show, but we know they had someone else that was really their alpha. And I think the little bit we saw of them, they look fantastic. One of them looks kind of like Blue. I don't know if that was intentional, if it was a coincidence. Was Wu the one responsible for making these? If so, how long was he working with Biosyn? I don't know if any of those questions are going to get answered, but in the little bit we saw of them, one did kind of look like Blue to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just seeing things that my eyes are trying to trick me into wanting to see. I don't know. But I am looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with these new Atrociraptors, what we're going to learn about them, and how much of a role they are going to play in season 4. The next one is the Quetzalcoatlus. We don't see a lot of it, but it does look like it's going to be causing trouble for the Nublar 6. That shot of the eye in the window, that was really cool. At first, I wasn't sure what it was, but then on multiple watches, I'm like, oh, that is so awesome. And then, of course, we see the beak, coming down, and that's when I was really like, they're really going to do this. They're bringing it into the show, and that's when I was, really surprised, because I did not expect it. I wasn't sure how it was going to fit in based on what we know about it from Dominion, that it's just kind of out there, and the turret system, depending on if it was on, if it was off, where they were, what was going on, I'm not sure. So it's going to be really exciting to see what the story with that is and how they come in contact with it, and what's going on in there. I'm thinking of all of the animals in the season, that's probably the one that we're going to see the least and get the least interaction with. It could be something as simple as the Beckel Spinax in season 1, where it gets one really good scene, and then that's basically it that we're going to see from it. So I'm not expecting a lot, but it was a very pleasant surprise that we're going to get to see it in season 4. And, we see a brief glimpse of the Giganotosaurus just ramming up against the vehicle. I think it's going to play a bigger role than that. I think they're kind of holding back. Maybe when we get the first real trailer in a month or so, we might see more of it and get a better idea of what's involved with it. But for now, all we got was the brief confirmation that, yes, this dinosaur is in season 4, which I think we all assumed, not just from the captives cards, but based on where the season was heading and what they're doing and what we know from the previous 3 seasons. I think it was a pretty safe bet that dinosaur was going to be in it. And sure enough, it is. And then, of course, we get the Therizinosaurus, which from the little bit we saw of it looks incredible. And the thing I want to talk about with it is it's super brief, it's in a flash, but I want to talk real quick about that scene we get of the Therizinosaurus and Rexy with the lightning, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The first time I saw it, I'm like, this is the end of Dominion from a different angle, kind of like we got the opening to Fallen Kingdom at a different angle, because basically it looks mirrored. The dinosaurs are on the opposite sides that you see them in Dominion, and it would make sense if the kids are off like in the background on the other side. That's why we don't see them in Dominion, but they're looking at this fight happen from over there. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but it would make sense if that's the way they're presenting this. But what is kind of, getting to me about it is, first, it does not have a broken claw. We know that it has a broken claw at the end of the movie, and in that brief clip we saw, it has all 6 of them. That could just be a creative choice. It could be an animation thing. I don't know. But the other thing that's making me think it's not that same scene is we don't get the dead Gigabody. That's kind of a big thing to be missing from that scene, unless it's just the camera angle where we're not seeing it and it's slightly off screen or somewhere else. I don't think that is like too mature to show in the show. We've seen dead dinosaurs. We've seen a dinosaur kill another dinosaur. So I don't think showing the dead Gigabody is going to be a little too much for the show or for the audience. So I'm really curious about what's happening in that scene. Now, it could be edited for the teaser, that it's, specifically made where you don't see it, so you don't know for sure that is the exact moment it's happening. Or for some strange reason, someone's watching the show and never saw Dominion. They don't want the end spoiled. I don't know. I don't know what all is involved and how time consuming or expensive it would be to edit pieces of the show, pieces of a scene out of the scene so that it looks different in the teaser than it does when we're watching the show. Now, movies do that all the time. The last Spider-Man movie was probably one of the most famous examples of doing that, where it was obvious there were other characters in the shot, but they edited them out for the trailer, but then in the movie they were there, and it's because they were trying to hide that the other, Spider-Man from the other universes were there. So I don't know if it's a little bit of that it's a, hey, we don't want to show you what is happening or that this is that exact scene, so we're going to just take this out of the scene. I don't know. So it could be something around the same time. I don't know any other time Rexy and the Therizinosaurus would be together, and it's dark and it's lightning. So it only makes sense that it's the very end of Dominion, but I don't know. It's going to be really exciting to see. I did expect we would get Rexy back. It would not be anything Jurassic if we didn't have her other than the intro. So I do wonder how much we're going to see of her too. Is it only going to be at the end? Or are we just going to see that end sequence from Dominion? Or are they going to run into her, in the habitat where she was wandering around? Because she's already there at this point if, the times are lining up between Dominion and where we left off at the end of season 3. At least I assume she's there, because I think we've run into the part, if they're bringing the Pyroraptor back to Biosyn Valley, where around the same time everybody else is going to be getting there. I assume. I don't know exact times. I don't know hours, days, weeks, whatever elapsed between different scenes in Dominion. I think the time is a little muddy, and nobody really knows for sure. For the longest time, people thought they knew when that movie even took place, and then after Chaos Theory, everyone's like, oh, I don't remember anymore. I don't know. Things are a little bit different. So who knows? But I do think she's going to be there the whole time, so it'll be exciting to see. Do we get to see the other T-Rexes? I doubt it, but they have T-Rex models, so maybe we will. I'm not really expecting that, though. One thing we know from season 3 is that Bumpy is now in Biosyn Valley. We did not see anything at all with Bumpy in the teaser trailer. I'm guessing in the regular trailer when that drops, we probably will see Bumpy, but maybe not. I don't know. We haven't really seen anything with Smoothie either. There were like 1 or 2 stills released over the last couple of months, and we saw, I think it was Sammy holding Kenji's smoothie bag, but Kenji wasn't there and we didn't see Smoothie either. So I don't know what's going to happen with Smoothie. It seems like a very dangerous thing for the Nublar 6 to be going through, carrying a little baby dinosaur around with them. So hopefully little Smoothie is going to end up okay. I doubt they're going to do anything dangerous or upsetting to a baby dinosaur. At least I really hope not. That would be pretty terrible. Now, Bumpy, on the other hand, I don't know. Bumpy could be the, not everyone is getting out unscathed. It doesn't necessarily have to apply to one of the human characters. I can see Bumpy sacrificing herself either to save Ben or to save Smoothie. I'm not sure. That's definitely a possibility. But I don't know. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot to think about. I think as the next 2 months go on, we're going to be getting probably more articles. We're definitely going to be getting another trailer in about a month. And I'm just looking forward to whatever kind of information we're going to have coming out. And between now and then, I just want to talk to some people. I want to get their thoughts on the things I talked about or other ideas that you have. I'm working on something with someone right now that we want to get together and chat about season 4. Actually, the wheels were put in motion a couple weeks ago, and a lot of the stuff that I briefly mentioned today I wanted to talk about, but now this kind of accelerated some of the things with the teaser coming out. I wanted to make, a half hour or whatever of time just to sit and get something out and talk to you guys about it and be excited about it with you all. And I definitely want to keep the conversation going about where we think season 4 is going to end up. What is the ultimate fate of these characters? What do we think, Scott Kramer meant when he said not everyone is getting out unscathed? And, it's a lot to think about, and I'm looking forward to having conversations with you all about it over the next 2 months. So on YouTube, leave any comments you want about that stuff. I really want to know what you guys think. If someone is in trouble, who do you think it is? If someone dies, who do you think it's going to be? I saw a lot of, they're probably talking about Kenji out there because Kenji was kind of setting himself up for the whole self-sacrifice thing. And I don't know. It would be really heartbreaking, especially after everything he went through. But it would be really heartbreaking no matter who it was. But I'm really curious what you all have to think about, that little bit of info that maybe something's happening to someone in this show. So please leave a comment or say something on other social media if you want. I am going to be more active, I promise. I know I said that a few weeks ago and I haven't lived up to it yet. I do still have my new fun video that I want to put out. I just need to sit down. I really need to find like an hour to do something for you guys because it's something I've been thinking about for a while. I really want to do. So I really hope I find the time to do it. If I had a little bit more time today, I would do it. We'll see. I doubt it. But I do want to make some time really soon to put together something really cool for you guys. I do have an interview that's coming up. We're just working out the scheduling, and I think everyone's going to love this interview that I'm doing. I'm super excited to be talking to this person, and, they've contributed to this show in an incredible way, and I'm just really excited about it. So look for that really, really soon. We're working out the final details on when we can make it happen. So that just about wraps it up. I did not have a ton of time, but I did want to talk to you all really briefly to say happy anniversary to Camp Cretaceous. I can't believe it's been 5 years, and to just really quickly touch on the Chaos Theory Season 4 teaser that just dropped. If you haven't watched it, head on over to YouTube and watch it once, twice, 3, 5, 10, 20 times, as many times as you need to kind of take it all in, because it is pretty awesome. And once you get past the Camp Cretaceous flashbacks, it is just boom, boom, boom. rapid fire at you with the little clips from the upcoming season 4. And as a reminder, season 4 will be out on Netflix on November 20th. So like I said, just a little over 2 months. I cannot wait. And one other little bit of Chaos Theory news, in case anyone didn't know, the cast of Chaos Theory will be at New York Comic-Con on Saturday, October 11th. Originally, I was supposed to be going. I have a badge for Saturday for New York Comic-Con. It was going to be my chance to finally be there with the cast. And it turns out I'm going to be on the other side of the country, and I'm going to be visiting family in California on that day. So sadly, I cannot attend New York Comic-Con, even though I was so excited and so looking forward to it, and possibly finally getting the chance to meet either Scott or one of the cast members, and to just in person say thank you for these amazing shows and, how they were life-changing for me. But sadly, I cannot go, and I am greatly disappointed. I have been chatting with someone that is attending, and they may take over social media duties for me while at New York Comic-Con. We're working out the details, and they might be posting live from New York Comic-Con while all the Chaos Theory stuff's going on. While I work those things out, we'll see. Hopefully that can work out, and we can work something out together, and you guys can get live updates from New York Comic-Con on the Campcast social media accounts. Not making any promises. Like I said, still trying to work that out. Got a little less than a month to figure it out, but we'll see about that. But if anyone is going to New York Comic-Con, first of all, I'm really jealous. But second of all, I hope you really enjoy it, and I hope you get to see something really cool. At a minimum, I'd expect the full trailer there. Maybe they'll show you guys some exclusive clips. I don't know if they're going to show an interview like they did at an episode like they did at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not sure, but we'll probably get more details as it gets a little closer to that date. But anyone going to New York Comic-Con on October 11th, please enjoy, have a great time, and make sure to share your experience with everyone on social media. So that wraps things up for me. Make sure you follow on Twitter at JP_Campcast and at other social media at Cretaceous Campcast. I'm going to try to be more active across all social media platforms. I am going to try to upload more things to YouTube, not just podcast episodes. I know I said that in my last episode, and I'm really working on it, guys. I promise. I am. I do want to contribute more. It's just life has been kicking me in the butt lately. I've had zero free time. Work has been crazy. Life at home has been crazy. There's just, I have no time to even sit down and think. Some days I don't even eat a meal. It's just been absolute insanity in my life. So thank you for your patience and understanding. And I hope everyone has a great time. Looking forward to Chaos Theory Season 4. Everybody, I want you to stay safe, stay Jurassic, and have a good one. So long.